Going live. Going live. Now we are live. Hey, Earthlings.
I am here to release all of my fears, come to peace with all my tears, and discover what it means to be alive. Welcome.
Welcome back.
It's been a couple of weeks since we've been with you guys.
Yeah, let us know if you can hear us well, and of course, where you are watching us from. We're streaming from Finland, Mia's parents' home, visiting them at this time. And we'd love to connect and jump quickly and say hi and connect with you guys. So if you hear us, let us know where you're watching us from. And if you start preparing for the new year, what's your intention, what you like to create or manifest in your new life in the next year. And in this stream, we will share with you what we've been doing to come more in alignment and in integrity with our work and with our relationship and with our community. So yeah, stay with us and share the video for those who resonate with us and resonate with you. And yeah.
So we will talk a lot about freedom today because it's a topic that a lot of people say that they want freedom, and we do all kinds of things in the name of freedom, thinking that a specific thing can get us freedom. And we want to share with you how we view that topic, what it is actually for us, what is freedom, and what we need to actually do. What is the not so easy internal work that needs to be done for us to all be free? And we're not only talking about, the freedom in the physical sense of freedom to travel or something like that. This goes way deeper. It is freedom at the soul level.
Yeah.
What that means.
Yeah, we will also share a bit from our shamanic journey, what we've been to, or mainly me, because I have been in a shamanic journey recently, and I realized amazing things, and I felt called to share it with the community. So we shared it at the Sacred Circle retreat, and also feels beautiful in alignment to extend it to our community around the world in this stream here.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about what it is that keeps us trapped in the first place, like what it even means that we're not free. And this is, for me, this is mainly, when we are still run by unconscious programming, when we are not actually choosing in every moment with our free will, but we're taking actions from a reactive place. We are reacting instead of choosing. And
which is most of our life. Just seeing how much we are programmed in schools, how much we are programmed in so many culture, religion, even spiritual teachers and guru. They all had influence on us in our perception of life. So all those filter in the same time give us some spiritual truth, like some material truth even, but in many cases disconnect us from our unique essence. So whenever we are disconnected from this unique essence, we are not acting out of our beautiful embodiment of this specific and special soul that we are.
Yeah, and very oftentimes we think that we are choosing things, and in a way we are, but we are not aware that we are actually choosing out of the programming. It's influencing us, and it's coming oftentimes out of fear, actually. So even things like choosing what we want to study might not be coming from a true free will choice, but out of what is expected of us. There might be fear about not fitting in or not succeeding or not being accepted. And whenever that happens, it's like we're not choosing from that heart-based place what is actually our soul calling.
Yeah, and it come in many different ways: the way we dress, the way we communicate, the way we attend events, even the way we show up in society. It has a many different implication of how we show up in the world. And for me, it feels the next year, for me at least, and for many people who resonate in the new earth, creating the new earth, it's a year of expressing our authenticity and true self and facing uncertainty and all this, uncertainty that's also showing up in the world. So how can we deal with that if we are not really connected to our own personal alignment and own personal truth? And in this video, we'll share some tips, what help us and what challenge us, and how it can apply to you too.
Yeah, so there is so many things, guys, that keep us trapped, and we've done so much shadow work that we keep finding these things like all the time. Like, oh wow, like my view of this is really distorted, like, because if I carry a lot of beliefs that that I've inherited or they come from trauma, those act as filters in terms of what I can perceive in the world. Like a lot of us, for example, have a filter of the world is unsafe, or the world is going to shit, or that people are unsafe. And while there is always some truth in those beliefs, because we've experienced something that was like that, where we were attacked by people, then when we begin to carry that filter all the time, it's like we cannot experience, actually we cannot take in the reality of life. We cannot take in the beautiful things if we have a filter that tells us that world is gray and difficult and dark, and people are,
Yeah, and
evil.
and we experience it in our personal life when we really are giving love to somebody, and this person or this situation, like specifically this person, are not taking in the love because they have this filter of like people are giving to get something in return. And I noticed those filters in me where I tend to really not see the good intention in teachers, for example. Specifically, one teacher I met in Ecuador in the last year, and he was acting out of so much generosity and so much love, and it took me so long to see how he's coming from good intention and just like channeling love through him, coming directly from source. So I had to cleanse myself from so much programming to be able to be a receiver. And I experienced the other way where I'm also giving love and my love is not received. And that has to do with what Mia shared of how we filter, how our perception filter the world. So our invitation to you today is to look with us at those. And yeah, want to share?
um yeah, basically I want to share, like, how do you notice that you are not completely free, that you might be operating from this kind of behavior, is when you are reacting strongly to things. And this is tricky because your reactions carry oftentimes an inner truth that needs to be heard. So there is usually, like, if I'm easily getting upset, for example, the truth in that is that I need to look at the pain that is inside of me, or if there is a boundary that I need to honor. But those reactions are an indicator that, in a way, we are not perceiving world accurately sometimes, because we are projecting oftentimes. If we have strong opinions about people, this person is like this or this person is like that, we have projection, which means that we are filtering information. um, yeah, if you are oftentimes feeling like you don't really know where you're headed in life, if you feel a lot of that you're just following, you don't really, you're just, if you're not in touch with that passion inside of yourself that says really like, wow, this is what I want to be doing in life,
Yeah.
then the chances are that you are actually doing something not from that love-based choice.
And when we're sharing this, it's not shaming, it's just like an indicator for us to remember that, oh, at this moment there's something not in alignment, and a small calling for us to go back to alignment. Yeah.
Yeah, and we did something in our last retreat regarding this topic. It was called the Creator's Game. It is created by a person we met in Portugal, And basically, this game helps you to see where you are not being the creator, meaning you are not free to create and choose your actions.
Yeah.
So it highlights where we are acting out of a pattern or a dynamic, such as, and there are a few kind of very common roles that we fall into.
Yeah.
Should I go over them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go over them. So mainly when you are not a creator, you're playing one of the unconscious game. And one of the unconscious game could be the victim.
So this is the most, in a way, common one. We all have
Yeah.
a victim inside of us that actually did experience pain in the past. That's why the victim is there. But when it becomes a program is when we don't heal the pain and we stay in the victim mentality.
Yeah.
Meaning that we find reasons all the time to feel like the victim in situations when we actually could take empowered action.
And yeah, exactly. Have the free will to choose different path than our programming and what our trauma set us up to do that.
Yeah. And again, there is no shame in this. All of us fall into this at some point in our lives, but usually we tend to kind of gravitate towards one of these roles. So the victim, the definition in a way is somebody who is not able to honor their own needs and boundaries, which always then leads them into situations where their boundaries are crossed or they don't get their needs met. But here the kind of like the tricky thing is that the person, when it becomes a victim mentality, is when the person is not able to own that, oh, it was me who was supposed to set a boundary, or oh, I should have expressed my need. And that responsibility is projected onto other people. For example, oh, that person crossed my boundary, they are so bad.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, you should have been more attuned, you didn't like feel my need, and then feeling victim about it.
Yeah.
And you can see how that if you're in that role, that really keeps you from being free to create what you want, because you're constantly at the mercy of other people.
Yeah. If you have any question during our sharing, you're welcome to do it. Shalicia, were you with us in Berlin in the workshop, I think, Shalicia?
Yeah, I remember there was a Chelsea there. Are you the same Chelsea?
Are you the same one? Yeah, good to have you here.
Yeah. Do you want to share about the next one?
Yeah, the next one is the rescuer who tend to make themselves important or take a role in the play and usually rescue the victim. So usually they assign certain badness to the person who caused the victim to be in pain, and then they take the role of defending the victim.
And here the kind of the trick is that the rescuer is avoiding being with themselves. So instead of looking at, oh, what is something uncomfortable that I'm feeling, they jump out and seek for someone else who is,
who is the victim be rescued.
And they also need there to be victims, so they often project also that there's a victim outside, when even that might not be the case. Yeah. And usually what the rescuer needs to learn, while let's say the victim needs to learn to own their power and own their needs and boundaries, the rescuer needs to learn to sit with themselves and to be with their own inner victim. What is it that they are feeling? What is it that they need?
And recognizing where they were victim and how they were feeling pain back then, and how is the situation now is different, and how they can make a different action. And we have done several workshops around this, how to opt out of this dynamic and be a creator. And I feel calling for the next year that this will be our kind of challenge to bring ourselves into reality, into creating a new earth when we are opting out of those old trauma and dynamics.
Yeah. And the third one that is common in this dynamic is the perpetrator. And this is the most unpopular one because no one wants to be the perpetrator. But this simply is the person who is unable to be with their own pain. So they start attacking others. And this isn't necessarily like physical attacking. It can be energetic. It can be blame, pointing fingers, like kind of like wanting to
make somebody a bad person or making somebody wrong.
Yeah, or it has that energy of, oftentimes it is directed at the victim. There is like rage, for example, about the victim being in this helpless state and taking all the attention.
Yeah, and it could be also directed at any other like archetype in this game. It doesn't have to be only the victim, but the common rule here is also the perpetrator is not able to see how to see their vulnerability and admit to it, and they protect their vulnerability by attacking or by giving advice or by withdrawal even, or by being a therapist, for example. So there's like many ways the attacker act out.
Yeah, but the common theme is that they are making somebody else wrong. Yeah, it's like it's not coming from love. That's the thing, that with the person on the other side will feel that there is an energy of hostility or attack, even if it's passive aggressive.
Yeah, it's a really cool game to be aware of, and when you opt out, you feel so much relief, and we've been experiencing a lot of relief from it.
Yeah, so what the perpetrator needs to own is their own pain, is their own, again, it's coming back to what's underneath my rage. What is it that I need? And usually it's that they actually have a really vulnerable need that they're not able to voice.
Yeah, or fear. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a really powerful, the curator's game is really powerful for discovering those and highlighting those patterns, because they are really what keep us stuck in those loops of being the victim, then rescuing others, attacking others, or blaming others, and not really being able to step into this place of freedom where it's just like, okay, I take ownership of my part, nothing more, nothing less, and I'm able to create from that place.
Yeah. Well said.
Go ahead.
You read it. Chilcia was not in our workshop. She's in Mexico. Yeah, nice that you are here in the online chat, and welcome. We'd love to have you in the coming meeting and workshops. And yeah.
Ravel says, I want to be the perpetrator. Okay.
Why? Yeah, and also regarding this is not only in our relationship, this play very much with what we call coverment. So in many situations, the coverment play either the perpetrator or the victim rescuer, or it can, like, if you see it in the bigger scale, we play all this dynamic as organization, as being, as countries. So we all have those dynamic. And the way we see breaking free from all this suffering that the world experiencing is by breaking free ourselves in our own circle, in our own community. So how we can evolve beyond those dynamics so it doesn't play out in the global scale.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and this is the way we see creating the new Earth as well.
Yeah, because like Chelsea here says, all the archetypal stories keep us caught in polarity, and it's the snake eating its tail. Yeah, it's like a loop. When you're in those dynamic, it's like a loop that never ends. Because if you keep rescuing the victim keeps feeding from that energy and is, and neither of you is gonna step into empowerment. And worst of all, you need there to be a bad guy, so you keep projecting out that there's a bad guy. And so a big part of this coming into our power and freedom is to own what is ours, own where it is that I need to, like own my power, own my emotions, own my pain,
and vulnerability as well,
own my vulnerability, own my needs, own my boundaries. This radical ownership in a way, and at the same time, not take ownership of things that don't belong to us. Because we play both of these parts where we are either oftentimes disowning the responsibility and we say, oh, it's because the rescuer needs to rescue me, or there's this bad guy who did it and I'm not responsible for my boundaries because this person is like that. We're projecting. Or we play the opposite where we are taking too much. We are saying, oh, he's upset because of me, I need to fix it. Oh, I did something wrong, now I'm gonna feel shame about myself, taking too much from others. not allowing. And this it doesn't help. It enables the other people to not face their shit
Yeah.
and evolve actually as souls.
Yeah. Well said. And yeah, we will open space for questions. So in a few minutes, so if you have any questions, let us, and we will answer you at the end of the live stream. And I want to share also with you something that come to me during my shamanic journey with plant medicine last month, or yeah, well, no, this month actually. Wow, time is running so fast. So one of the thing that help us break free from basically programming and being bound to a specific philosophy or teacher is rescinding the spiritual contrast in our soul level.
Contracts.
What did I say?
Contrast.
Oh no, contracts. Yeah, so how we rescind those contracts, basically using our free will to say and to recognize that I don't want to have this contract on me anymore. I want my soul to be free, 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 free. And the sentence I learned from the curanderos I've been working with is choosing with my free will to rescind all contract made on my soul, consciously or unconsciously, willingly or unwillingly. And we have created a meditation in a group setting. I'm gonna post a link for it here so you can watch it after the live stream. And yeah, basically it will guide you to really take ownership um, of your life path, basically. And it will help you to be free from any manipulation, from any influence, whether it's from a spiritual teacher or a guru or a philosophy that you inherited it from your parents or from society or from school. So you can do this with all people in your life, and it doesn't mean that you would lose connection to them. It doesn't mean that they will completely disappear from your life. It means that you will have um, a healthy relationship to your connection to those entity and to those being. And at some point, if you feel like their teachings still resonate with you, you can build a relationship without those old contracts. So I did it myself with many spiritual teacher and my parents and many people who had influence on me, and I felt so much love coming from source directly to me, and so much expansion was really beautiful. Yeah, so I highly recommend it.
Yeah, thank you. This is a very powerful technique, and at the same time, it's not only about the words. It requires that we want to let go of those ties that where we filter this source connection through another person or have taken on something from them that doesn't belong to us, whether it's a belief or kind of false responsibility. And you can do this with your parents, with your partners.
Yeah.
And really, what helps is also recognizing, why did I need that contract to begin with?
Yeah, so you can hear where you start untangle from this contract on the emotional level, when you realized why I was matched to this contract, why this contract took effect on me. Was it because I was in need for belonging? One of my need was needing of belonging and community. Other need was needing for mother's love. And it could be different for each one of you. So recognizing where this contract took hold of you, and sometimes those contracts are get hold on us consciously or unconsciously, willingly or unwillingly. And this is why it's important to say those words and mean it, and really, yeah, take it on from all your parts, saying it from the center of your being.
And when you say that, it might not happen like in 1 second. It's more like a process is being initiated.
Yeah.
And you might have to purge a lot of things, to actually release the contracts that you have. And the way I see true freedom is when we are truly connected to source ourselves. We no longer act from, feeding from other people's energy. We no longer need someone else to show us the way, because then we are just following again someone else's path. So that all the true teachers have always been pointing to our own inner guidance, that we learn to come back to the connection, not that we get dependent on someone else. It doesn't matter how amazing a teacher you have. They are only here to show you your own way back to your own connection so that you can follow your unique path, which is completely different from anyone else's.
Yeah, that's it.
So again, I want to just reflect more things about a true freedom, just to give an idea of how we see it. So for me, there is that part of choosing your actions in every moment instead of reacting. It's being able to, in a moment of trigger, breathe and notice what is happening. Just notice, okay, I'm activated, what is happening, and then choosing to be present instead of going into reaction. For me, this is freedom.
Yeah.
And when you do this, life will begin to unfold organically. It's like every moment is unique
It's
and
celebration.
is fresh. It's like you can't predict anymore. Life isn't meant to be a predictable pattern, but we make it that way because of fear. So we are seeking jobs and things like relationships that would create security. Security meaning we can predict it. We know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But when you are free and you're connected to source and you learn to trust, life becomes this magical thing that just unfolds organically every moment, and you don't know what's going to happen, and you don't need to know because you trust.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
like every snowflake is different, every single human being and tree is unique.
And every interaction between any creatures are also different. So it brings so much freedom just to see it this way and to see that you have a different rule in every interaction when you're coming from yourself to create infinite possibilities for life, which is so beautiful.
Yeah, so every moment is completely unique
Yeah.
in that way, and this scares the crap out of people that they can't predict. But that's just the ego holding on because it's scared. It doesn't know that it's connected to all life.
I love this.
And there is a huge initiation that we need to go through when we want to really follow our soul calling. And the initiation is letting go of the predictability, letting go of really safety in a way, the old false safety.
Yeah, and this is where I feel the calling for the next year, or the challenge for next year, is letting go of predictability. The next year, I have a feeling that it will be very unpredictable, whether it's financially, whether it's worldwide event, and economically, also environmentally. So I feel like we're gonna face a lot of situations that push us in a way to face unpredictability
and face our fears.
And face our fears, of course. And here, where we have a beautiful chance of creating a new earth from the moment, and from bringing conscious awareness to every time, every single moment where we are choosing, and remembering that we have a huge impact on creating earth and creating a new earth.
Yeah. Yes, it's like we're shifting from, oh, I need to have everything in order so that I can, feel safe. And then these are being taken away gently, and not so gently sometimes. The universe is crumbling
the more
the
we
old
hold,
structure, and we can go into panic and fear about that.
the more we hold on them, the more roughly they will be taken from us.
Yeah, but actually this is an initiation for us to come into trust and connection with source, instead of needing like that, to hold on to everything. And this actually is what is needed if we want to follow the soul path, the soul calling, because the voice that whispers into us for us what to do is unique in every moment. It cannot completely plan every step, because it's something that arises spontaneously in the moment. So it's a huge initiation when you learn to follow the soul calling and the whispers of your heart and the screams of your heart sometimes, to face your fears. Yeah. And that's what we've been going through, by the way, a lot.
Tibako Jordan saying, I'm caught up between two women. I feel like choosing a new lady over the old due to many reasons. So it seems that you're going through a change in relationships. I can't say much from what you wrote, but it feels I'm also aware that many people in this time space are challenged in the relationship, and it could be different from one person to another to okay, am I called here to see if I can repair the connection with my partner, or am I called to move on to new things? So that can be a very individual situation. But what I would recommend you to do is to rescind the contract with both of them and with the mother, with your mother, because many of the conflict and unhealthy dynamic we inherit from our parents. So if you can rescind the contract from all of them, and then ask source or ask God to show you what is true to you, where is your heart calling. So that will help you a lot in making the right move for you in this situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And a big part of that, being truly free is the freedom to speak and live our truth, no matter if there's judgments. Or, that was a big lesson for me when I first got together with Ram, because I was in another relationship.
Yeah.
And there was so much guilt that I felt. And my brain was going crazy telling me, or my mind, that no, you can't do it, blah, 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 and for this and that reason. But my heart it was so obvious. My heart said, no, you have to be with Ram.
I'm so glad.
And doing that, it felt like death, because I had to face so many fears following my heart. But that's also me now living my truth, and I'm learning still to speak my truth in every moment, whatever wants to be expressed through me, no matter what is the consequence.
Yeah. Well said.
And of course, to also the freedom to that living your truth includes expressing, that you're free to in other forms. I mean, like creativity, expressing your creativity. That if maybe you have been working in a job that is not fulfilling, and there is this part of you, that inner child who is actually goofy and playful and wants to make music, then you being free would be that you're free to follow that.
Yeah.
And you might need to again face the fear of unpredictability, because you will not have a stable salary anymore.
Yeah, well said.
Sorry, I go on rants just babbling for.
I'm glad that you made a note for us. Yeah.
Should we do a channeling?
Yes, let's do a channeling. And also want you to know that we'll start online workshops. So for sure we will do one. So if you haven't joined our Telegram group, join it now, so you can get updates about the next one we do. And you will also see many things that we don't usually share in our YouTube channel. You can see all of it on the Telegram channel. I'm just gonna post a link here, so you can jump there and say hi and meet and connect with the community.
Yeah, so we're just gonna do 2 minutes of tuning in to everybody who is watching this or will watch this, what it is that would benefit you to hear regarding this topic of freedom. And feel free to ask questions. Now is the last chance before we jump out. It feels like there's an inner child who feels uncontained. It feels very clearly that you need to connect to your inner child. As if there is a blanket of heaviness and grayness over you. There is a deep longing in the inner child, and that longing isn't being completely heard, coming from your heart. Needs to be a shift of priorities. Learning to prioritize again the moment and what arises in you. What you enjoy doing, connection, human connection, laughter. And wherever there is uniquely in your inner child that wants to be heard. It's like when we enter into this world, we are influenced by the adult world that seems so, it is gray and repetitive, and it's about creating safety, predictability, and the inner child gets lost at some point. So to reconnect to the inner child, she holds the keys to liberate your heart.
Mm.
And your inner child also holds the keys for your soul calling and fulfillment.
Mm. That was coming a lot in the sacred circle, how the inner child, or connecting with the inner child, is the key to connect back to source. It's very coming very beautifully.
So the way you can do that is, for example, seeing yourself in your mind's eye in the place where you grew up, as if you are there again in the child body, and observing how you feel. And this way you're connecting back to the, the reality of the inner child, and what is the truth of the inner child.
Mm.
And first, when you connect to the inner child, there might not be only joy and giggles. Oftentimes there is a lot of pain that needs to be felt first.
Mm.
There might be grief about, or like an inner truth that the inner child wants you to see. For example, I felt so lonely all my childhood. Maybe the inner child wants you to see that.
Mm. And quite often when we start feeling those emotions, usually it's the liberation for those emotions, not it's not the beginning of a dark age. It's just the beginning of a liberation time.
Yeah.
And the process is really beautiful.
Yeah, we're talking about freedom. You are free to feel. The emotion is free to move. If you don't feel it, it doesn't go away. It gets stuck in your body. That's when you're actually trapped in the emotion if you don't feel it, because it will impact you and your physical body. And if you refuse to feel it for decades, it turns into illness. So it is so crucial to let those emotions flow.
Mm.
Let yourself cry for all the things the inner child felt hurt by. And the treasure underneath all the pain is the joy. It will come up when you've processed the other layers.
This feels like the cherry on the top of the cake.
Yeah. Okay.
If there is any question, please write them. And also, if you watch the replay, we will answer all your questions. Just leave them in the comment section, not in the live chat, because we don't see the live chat anymore. Write them in the comments and we will answer them. And yeah, we love creating this with you, and we're looking forward to see you another
Yeah.
time.
Thank you, Clara. It's so nice to have you with us.
Yes.
I'm glad that you're receiving the channeling.
Clara said, beautiful channeling, Mia. I appreciate how you deliver it so much.
Right. So see you soon, guys.
See you soon.
We try to keep doing this more regularly.
Yes. And share it if you have some people who resonate with us and resonate with the new earth vibration. Share the video, and we'd love to grow the community with you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.